Welcome back to Project... She's gone! It's really heavy. Welcome back to Project Daily Drive, and yes, she's gone. The only sign of Morris Minor was here is the myriad of Morris Minor parts lying around the place, the rust, and the giant oil spill. And before you get worried, no, I haven't sold the car, although some could argue I probably should have. She's not here because she's about 10 miles away at a place called Morris Millennium, who are a specialist. Now, to find out why, you're going to have to travel back over a week to when the car was here, so I can explain what's going on. And oh boy, I had a bad week. How dare my door slam? Now, if you're wondering why I'm wearing a myriad of silly hats in this video, even though the weather last week was absolutely glorious, it is because, oh my word, I need a haircut. I've gone straight up Dennis the Menace at the moment. This hair is so long. My hair goes really fast and I don't want to get a haircut, so hats it is. But yeah, let's go back a week and I'll let my past self explain. I had a really bad time. Thank you, future me. Yes, we're back in the past, and yep, car's still here. About a week before what you just saw. So she's got to go off for a welding, but before she can go, I've got to do some prep work to the car, basically to save money. I need to strip out the entire interior of this car because it's going to need to be stripped out anyway, so I might as well do it now to save labour costs down the line. When I bought the car, she had a complete interior. In fact, when I bought the car, she was stock except for slightly wider tyres and a brake light. And well, I've been modifying her ever since. The problem with the interior was that even though it was a complete interior, it wasn't a very nice interior. The carpets were kind of mouldy, the seats were horrible, and just over time things have been pulled out and they haven't been put back. The carpets basically are all gone except for one or two pieces. The original seats, I still have them. They're actually stored at my granddad's. But I had to replace them with more modern car seats because I have a very bad back, so that was kind of necessary. So what I'm going to do is strip out the rest of the interior. Now, as you'll see in the video, the interior isn't very good, and I've come to a decision that I'm going to just remake it, all of it, because the door cards are mouldy and collapsing and full of holes, the carpet's terrible, and I can do it, so I might as well. So look forward to that video in the future. But anyway, let's start stripping her down. Let's start from the back forward because everyone does from forward back, and I think it would be a nice change of pace. So, my car has had 16 other owners before me, and some of them who own this car really did not look after her. And if you want to see just the astonishing quality of repairs, you look no further than this corner. If you can see that, where this is the rear chassis leg, this beam, it goes all the way across here. And this is what the actual rear spring holds onto. Now, up here, it's actually really solid. There's nothing wrong with it, except for the fact that here is expanding foam. I am not joking. This was filled with expanding foam, and on the underside of it, it's got body filler on it because it's basically, there's nothing there, there's no metal there, it's just rust and rot. That's why the car got taken off the road. This is really bad. And also this corner here, where the loom comes through, is also in very bad condition. That is in fact silicone. There is silicone holding my car together. Silicone and body filler and expanding foam. This is one of the parts that's being welded, by the way. This spring hanger, the other spring hanger, the front chassis legs, and the driver's side sill. But one of my worries is that this arch also needs doing Luckily I actually have the repair panels for that, so yeah. This is not going to be fun. Alright, now I've got to empty out the car's interior, but first I've actually got to remove all the junk I've been keeping in there. I've not been really keeping the car clean because she's just been in a constant state of being worked on, which is just another way of saying I'm really lazy. So let's empty out all the stuff. What I'll do is I'll go through the stuff I pull out that's important to the interior that needs replacing. So let's start that. It's time for a bit of a time lapse. Okay, so I'm going to commentate over a few of the time lapses in this episode because there's a few jobs I had to take my microphone off to do. I don't have a radio mic, it's just a long cable. So here's me emptying out all the junk from the interior. I'll go through this in another episode when I'm going to work through remaking the interior because a lot of it is just shot. Now here is the seats. Now there's no bolts holding these on, they literally just pop straight out, and then I just slid them out through the boot to make my life a bit easier. These are the original seats and they're in really good condition. They could just do with a clean, so they're going to get cleaned up and put back on the car when she's back. Now here's the interior door cards, or the armrest to be specific. They're held in with a couple of self-tappers around the edge and they just pop straight out nice and easy. Now if you have a look at this one here, you can see that the condition they're in is kind of terrible. They're just really worn out, really shot. So I'm going to be remaking these along with most of the interior when the time comes. Now these are the last two bits of carpet in the car, so to remove them I just removed the gear knob, just unscrews, pulled the gaiter off and then yanked the carpets out, screw the knob back on so it didn't get lost. And that's about it. That's all of the soft things now stripped out of the car. And as you can see, it's not a pretty sight, especially around the brake master cylinder and in the corners. It's pretty rusty. As you can see, there's some holes in the wheel arch just there. We're going to go through and take a closer look at that in a moment. That's the arch that I had repaired a few months ago. There we are. Okay, so I've had to go to a different camera because I don't want to wear my lavalier mic while I'm doing this job, so sorry about the audio and the camera quality. What I'm going to do now, sorry I'm out of breath, I've just been up and down the stairs about a million times. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to have a tackle of some of the rust patches that I've discovered. I just want to see how bad they are. So I've got to wear my appropriate PPE, and the flat hat is appropriate PPE because I'm in the north of England. So I won't be able to talk much, but enjoy! So I removed a small body panel from the inside this car and found this hole. And having poked it, it was a decent sized hole, so I decided to get the drill and a wire wheel and hack at it. All that white stuff you see is body filler. This hole is hiding under an awful lot of body filler and paint and looked completely solid until I found a place where the screwdriver went through. Same with this crack. That is full of body filler as well. I don't know if the camera shows it off too well, but you can see all of the dust coming off of it. That is all the body filler that was used to hide it. Somebody in the past of this car has spent an awful lot of time filling and hiding this crack and this rust damage so that somebody else buying it wouldn't notice it. You'll see here when the shot changes in a moment how bad this actually is. There you go. As you can see, the crack extends all the way from there, all the way down here. It's held on a tiny bit there, and the rest of this is just rotted out like tissue paper and is full of filler, with this crack at the bottom here. Simply enough, that kind of kidney bowl panel isn't attached to the rest of the car, apart from a small 2-inch bit at the very front there. This is dangerous. This is as dangerous as it gets, and somebody knew about this and hid it, and then probably sold the car on to somebody else. In fact, have a look at my genuine reaction after I saw this, because it rattled me. Right, I like to think of myself as a pretty unflappable guy. Not much gets under my skin, not much bothers me, but what I've just found here has rattled me. Let me show this one, because it's hard to show. But you see this crack that I found? Goes all the way down here. But you see that white stuff? That's body filler. This crack goes from all the way up there, all the way down here, and then this piece of metal here has cracked along its entire length. But not only that, it's then been filled in with body filler. So somebody has had a look at this car and plastered a whole tin of body filler to hide this, and I had no idea about this. I thought there was a small hole. The simple fact is that this panel here is not attached to the rest of the car. This door pillar here has got no strength in it. This is why you... Oh my god, I have been driving in this car. I've been on the motorway in this car. And like, this looked clean, this looked solid. This was clearly done to sell the car on when she was way past. And that's genuinely rattled me, because that is... There's no hiding the fact this hole needs repairing, which means I've got to take the wing off now. Oh god. Give me a minute. I've been driving a death trap around for 2 years! It's official, there's no getting around it. Got to take the wing off. A job that I've been dreading and I do not really know how to do. But I've got to take it off. It's going to have to come off anyway. So might as well be me doing it to save me some labour cost down the line. Oh, here we go. Right, now I've got to take the lights off, because that's what needs to come off before I can take the wing off. And why, yes, I am using my mum's wicker shopping basket to hold the electrics. As long as none of you snitch, she'll never know. Oh. That didn't scare me. You didn't see anything. I need a flat-headed screwdriver. I think this needs replacing. It's so rusty. Wow. I should reiterate the point that this car had a valid MOT when I bought it. Rust holes and everything, come on. Why is there a spring in there? You what? I didn't know these were spring loaded. Should just undo. Sorry for the cutaway. I had to go and take a break because my leg was acting up. Here is the light out of its place. It was like that, and it's actually, that's the top of it. Because this literally is the wheel, all the dirt gets kicked up and it came out in a shower of filth. Oh dear. The issue I've got is that the cables have been messed around with. I'm sorry I'm not using the good camera for this, but this is actually just a bit easier. These have been messed around with, so I've got to kind of guess which one's which and then disconnect it. And then I've got to do the side lights. Yay! Good idea. Right, so with the help of my dad, got the bottom side lights and the top headlamps out. Now I need to remove the actual wing. So there's a series of bolts, I actually don't know how many, around the lip. Somebody's siliconed it, but I can just pull that off. Hopefully, it'll come off. Whether or not it actually will come straight away, not a clue, so I've just got to remove these bolts now. You know, I only wanted to do the interior today, just get it done, nice easy job, clear it out, and well, this is where I am at the end of the day. Unfortunately, Jean has been to Dr. Bodge's school of dodgy repairs because, well, the wing was shot, and behind the wing, it's actually not so bad, but there's cracks, and it's not nice. I'm going to have to clean this off just to get a good idea of the state of it, because there's a few pinholes and stuff, and then I'm going to have to sweep up the driveway of half my car. I've been on my knees all day, it's killing me. But, well, I'm glad I've found it, even though it is upsetting, because that way I know it can be fixed. I'm wearing a white shirt and that's going to wash out the camera, but I'm too lazy to get changed. So I'm sorry I didn't show you much of taking the other wing off, but I've never actually done it before, and it was a bit of a pain. It was actually a nightmare to get the wing off, but now I know what I'm doing and this wing should be easier to get off. I've jinxed it now, haven't I? Easier. So let's get it stripped down. Something I've noticed is that while that was a sealed beam headlamp, this is halogen. This car had an MOT when I bought it. I haven't changed these headlamps. Anyway, let's get to work. There's no screw holding this headlamp in. Excuse me. You're joking, there was no screw holding that in. This car had an MOT. Okay. Ah, that's disgusting. You know, that's actually in better nick than the other headlamp was. Now I've just got to disconnect it. Leaving it hanging like that, that'll be fine. But that was terrifying. Headlamp. I'll inspect that later. Have a look at the condition of it, because I want to upgrade to halogen in the future. So make my life a lot easier if it had been half upgraded to halogen. Although I know for a fact you need a relay, so yep, that's another bodge. That came away suspiciously easy, I don't trust it. You know, that took a lot easier than it did yesterday. Oh, I've dropped the bolt. It's a bit stuck on the bodywork. There we go. That's number 2. Give these a good clean up and they'll be as good as new. Right. Now I've got to take all the bolts from out underneath. Oh no. Now I've got to remove all the underbolts, which are underneath here. There's 5 of them. Yes, I am lying on a cot mattress because I hate lying on the ground. Hey, that came free. That's what happened. Right. Honest? Is it free? Yep. There we go. That's actually in brilliant condition. Look at it. Right. Hello everybody and welcome to another example of Dr. Bodge's School of Rubbish Repairs. Took the wing off and I was really happy about it. I took the wing off and thought, oh, look at that. It's in great condition. There's barely any rust on it. It's not rotten away. Fantastic stuff. And then I've driven this car on the motorway. I've driven this car at 60 miles an hour on national speed limit roads around tight bends. I've driven this car in Manchester, which is capital of the pothole. There is no strength in this car at all. And that's it. Car's been completely stripped out. She goes away tomorrow. There's nothing left in the car now. No carpets, door cards. Or the actual door cards are in. I probably should take them out, to be honest. Driver's side seats in and the steering wheel. That's it. There's nothing else. No carpets. No nothing. Apart from the seat belts, but they've been Loctited in. When I started this strip down, I had an idea in my head. Like, I knew the driver's side sill needs work. I know that the driver's side chassis leg needs work. The passenger side one needs replacing. The rear spring hangers needed work. A big job, and I've planned for it. As I've stripped this car down, I've found two major issues with the front corners that were both hiding under, in some cases, a centimetre of body filler. And they are really bad. They are really dangerous. The simple fact is that in the past of this car, somebody has seen the rot on both sides, has seen this work, and maybe they've tried to patch it on the driver's side and it hasn't worked. And instead of doing the job properly or taking the car to a specialist, they just filled it in with body filler, flattened it down, painted it so it looked nice. They did the same underneath. Somebody in the past of this car spent hours hiding very dangerous work. You know, there's body filler at the rear chassis legs, there's body filler in these corners, hiding under seal. When I bought the car, it looked nice, and the guy bought it off. He was an honest guy. You know, I've got no problems with him. He was a nice guy, and I bought it off him. He was honest. He hadn't owned it for very long, and just turns out that somebody had hidden this work. This car had an MOT. This work was done to hide structural failings that would have been picked up on an MOT, and it means the car's been dangerous for the past 2 years I've owned it. There's no hiding that fact. I've been on the motorway. I've had my friends in this car. I've been on holiday in this car. All the while it's not been very strong because somebody has hidden severe rot just to sell the car on to some poor sap. And it ended up with me, and I'm the one who's been bitten by it. At the end of the day, it was going to be found eventually, so I've found it, but the problem I've got is that the car is going off for welding tomorrow, and I honestly don't know. You see, it's all repairable. You know, worse cars have been restored, and these people are specialists. They do these cars every day. They can do it. There's a point where, you may see the series on YouTube, but I'm actually just a normal guy, just out of university. I've not got unlimited funds, and at some point they're just... I don't know if I can honestly save this car. So it's all down to the specialists. It's all down to what they can do. But this car means a lot to me. It's named after my grandma, I mentioned this. Me and my granddad go to shows in it. Me and my dad have worked on this car a bunch. I've always, since I was very little, dreamt of owning a classic car. It's my first car. It's my only car. And yeah, lockdowns happened. This car needs months of work. It needs not only the welding, but everything needs to be put back together. It needs mechanical work. Mechanics are fine, I can do them. Welding, I can't. And I'm dedicated to getting this car on the road. But I don't even know if it's going to be this year. And that hurts. It really hurts. Guess we'll find out tomorrow, won't we? Yes, we will. Enough about me being sad. Let's see if I can find something funny to do. So, we're back to future me, and yep, as of right now, the car is at Morris Millennium. Sorry for the kind of depressing note there. I was very sad. I decided to keep that in because it's fair to show kind of the both sides of owning a classic car. Sometimes it's really rough, sometimes it's the best thing ever. So I left that in. But I said I'd cheer you up. So I've been doing some historical digging, and in my notebook, I believe I know when some of this dangerous repair work was done on the car. It was in July 2007. You see, MOT records online only go back to 2005, so the earliest MOT on record is actually in 2007. It was July the 21st, 2007, and the car failed on a few points, and I have them written down here. Driver's seat insecure. Offside front seat belt damage sufficient to obstruct current operation of the belt. Offside front seat belt anchorage prescribed as excessively corroded. Offside headlamp not working on main beam. Near side front tyre has ply or cords exposed. Offside front suspension component mounting is prescribed. Area is excessively corroded. Offside rear suspension component mounting is prescribed as excessively corroded. Offside rear brake recording little or no effort. Offside rear brake binding. I love the fact it is both not doing anything and doing too much at the same time. Offside rear parking brake is recording little to no effort. Highlighted as dangerous. Offside front suspension arm has excessive play to bush. Parking brake, efficiency below requirements, also marked as dangerous. Brakes imbalanced across an axle, once again marked as dangerous. And an advisory, the near side front suspension arm has side play in the bush. Now, this was a fail on the 21st of July 2007, and the car had 904 miles on the clock. Now, I want to point out that the offside, where is it? Here it is. Offside rear suspension component mounting is prescribed as excessively corroded. Have a bit of photo and video. That's the same mounting, and the white stuff there is in fact body filler, hiding shocking repairs, frankly. So, yeah, but here's the most interesting part about this. 10 days after the previous fail, the car passed an MOT with no advisories at all on the 31st of July 2007, and interestingly enough, with 53,626 miles on the clock. which means that the speedometer's been changed, and that's concerning because I don't know how many miles my car has done. If I were to calculate the mileage, I would say that my car had probably gone round the clock, hence showing the 904 miles, and somebody's put a different speedometer in to make it look like it's only done 53,000 miles. And then there's no MOT history until 2013, and it fails one, but the one that it failed, not 2013 but 2016, was good quality work. So, not good. I actually did check with a few people, mechanics and specialists, and they don't reckon that work could be done properly in 10 days. Oh dear. Well then, so yeah, to give an update on the car, I actually was speaking to Morris Millennium just about 10 minutes before I recorded this. The car's in, they're currently working on it, and oh boy, it's not nice. I'll go through the video that's coming up after this one, when I get the car back, to explain what's being done, go through everything. They're letting me come in once a week to take photos and videos. Yeah. While you're hearing me talk, you'll be seeing a video footage of the car up on the ramp before they started work, so you can see what was underneath my car. You can see why I took it off the road. It's not nice. Now, people are going to ask a couple of questions, mainly, why don't I just get rid of the car and buy another? I don't really have a good logical answer for this, but that car means a lot to me, and yeah, it's all work that's doable. So we'll be going over it next video. The car is being done to what you might call MOT standards. It's not being restored. It's being done to MOT standards, and what I mean by that is everything structural is being worked on. But the car's going to look exactly the same up above. You know, it's going to have the dodgy paint and everything, and we're going to be putting it back together. Now, one thing that I should say is that because of not only the coronavirus crisis, but also the fact that this work is ongoing, the car is not going to be ready for summer. Which means that I'm not going to be making it to any shows this year, which is a bit of a shame. I was looking forward to specifically Tyre Fest, which I was hoping to announce I'm going to, but no, I've fat chance of being able to make it to that, so that's a bit of a shame. But I'm going to spend this time to get the car mechanically sorted and make sure it's, you know, safe on the road. So you got some really good videos coming up because I've got a lot of mechanical jobs to be doing on the car. But that's it for this video. It's gone on long enough. Yeah. Hope to see you next time, and we'll go over what's been done, and then we'll outline where I'm going to go from there, because, you know, the hard work's been done. Got to do everything else. Also, talking about the carburetor live stream, the carburetor's not actually here at the moment, is it? No, it's in the other room. Working on that. I've got the live stream set up, sort of, kind of sorted out. It's just a couple of teething problems I've got my end, but I'm hopefully going to be doing it soon. I'll put a video announcement up when that's ongoing. In fact, I actually have... Here's the kit. I didn't know that SU actually still existed, and they're still made in the UK, but I have the rebuild kit right here, so look forward to that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye. No one ever shows you the cleanup, do they? They're happy to show you getting all the rust out of a car and getting it on the floor, but some poor sap has to clean it up. As I run this show, that poor sap is me.